Hello everyone. I'd like to present to you Shin Pokemon, Blue version. This is a ROM hack that I've created that is generally an improvement over the original in terms of AI improvements, some quality of life improvements, and just fixing up all of the bugs and the glitches in the game. But if you're watching this, you probably already know that. So, what I'm kinda doing here is I'm getting ready for the next release, and I figured, hey, why don't I stream the playtesting? And what I kinda want to do for this is to serve as a sort of, I guess, developer commentary, or kind of like a dev diary, just to kind of talk about some things that are going on that may not be apparently noticeable. So, I guess the first thing I want to talk about is the color here. If you've seen other kind of streams or Let's Plays of this, you'll notice that, especially if somebody's streaming Pokemon Yellow version, that the colors are normally very, very saturated. Like they'll look like this. And that's because Game Boy Color palettes, when they were being developed, well, for the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Color screen kind of washes everything out naturally. It's an old TFT screen. So you'd have to code them as very, very saturated. But nowadays, everybody plays everything on LCD screens, which has much higher, I guess, color accuracy. So it ends up looking like this. So what I've done is I've actually put into place a gamma shader that corrects for this, and it's just running right off the ROM. So normally, when you get to this copyright screen, you hit select, and that will turn the gamma shader on. What I've done with this ROM, though, is that I coded in a feature that if you edit the ROM header, and you change the destination code byte from 01 to 00, 00 corresponds to local Japan, it will read that byte out of the header and will turn the gamma shader on by default. So for this ROM, because I've changed the destination code to 0, I hit select at this copyright screen and it will turn the gamma shader off. Otherwise, it is always on. You can see everything now is much more reasonable. You don't have that, especially the purples. The purples aren't blinding you. And we have a nice, and the blues are kind of nice and light and easy on the eyes. Another thing you'll notice is that this is Blue version, and yet it's in color as if it were Pokemon Yellow. If you've seen streams of Blue version, you'll notice that it goes into duochrome, where the background palettes are monochrome blue, when the object palettes are monochrome red. So what I did for this ROM hack was I actually backported the color engine from Pokemon Yellow. So what it's doing is it's taking the Super Game Boy palettes and it's converting them on the fly into Game Boy Color palettes. And one thing I did do was that for these scrolling Pokemon, these normally only have a single palette, and this is noticeable if you play on like a Super Game Boy. But what I did was that when you play this in a Game Boy Color mode, which we're going to be doing for these streams, when you play in a Game Boy Color mode, I made it so that, hey, when they're off the screen and it's randomly selecting which Pokemon to scroll onto the screen, I have it say, hey, okay, you've selected a new one. Find out what its palette is supposed to be in a battle, and then load that and update the background palette for that area of the screen. So that way, when it scrolls on, it actually has its color palette that it's supposed to have, looking at it in the Pokedex or in battle. So that, let me start up this little thing here. There we go. There are little quick key things, and I put up this little controller in the bottom corner so that you can see what I do. This version I'm doing is 1.23.06 master. So this is a beta for 1.24 that I want to get out the door here sometime soon. And the M for master means that this is the main ROM hack. There is also a light version of this ROM hack, which is just AI and bug fixes and some engine upgrades, and doesn't do any of the extra features that I've put into the game. So, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go to the options menu. I'm going to talk about a few things. Let me kind of reset everything back here. I'll just go through it one by one. So, text speed. I'm going to keep this on fast, but if you press left here, you'll get this exclamation mark. That reinstitutes a feature used for speedrunning. So in the original games, there was a bug in the game where you talk to the bicycle NPC guy, and it ends up setting the frame delay after printing each text character to 0, so text would just print instantly. I fixed that bug, and someone was like, hey, I really liked how I could set that to have 0 frame delay in the text. Could you re-implement that? And I said, okay, let me see if I can do this in just the options menu. And that's what I've done here. So when that exclamation point is up, none of these choices matter, because that turns on the 0 frame delay again. I personally don't like it on because it stops playing certain sound effects in text, so I'm going to leave that off for now. Maybe I'll show it off later. If you play on set mode in the master version, it makes things a little bit harder. The main thing it does is that it boosts the stats of AI trainers so that they actually have stat experience now and good DVs. I'll talk about that probably later. I'm going to leave that on set. And also, pressing left or right here will toggle 60 FPS mode. This is for the overworld. And 60 FPS mode actually works best on a Game Boy Color, because when you're in Game Boy Color, on a Game Boy Color or in Game Boy Color emulation mode, I have set this up so that it takes advantage of the Color's double speed mode built into its processor. So the processor for the Game Boy Color, when this is active, will run at double speed, and it makes things a lot smoother. If you try this on a DMG or like a Game Boy Pocket, excuse me, it'll work, but you may notice some frame drops and some hiccuping. But the double speed mode just fixes, it just smooths all of that out. So I'm going to leave that on. We also have a Nuzlocke mode that I have built into the master version. You just hit A over the battle animation section. And what this does is it automatically puts it into set mode. It sets a level cap, which is enforced by obedience. And it follows the death rule, the one Pokemon per area rule, enforces duplication clause, enforces shiny clause, and it does a couple other things, which I'll talk about later. Also, these are optional. You can set any of this back, and you can press A over the battle style to toggle the level cap for obedience on and off. I'm gonna leave this all off now, and just keep the text speed on fast. Finally, I have backported the audio engine from Pokemon Yellow, so if you press select here, you get stereo sound. You have all of the stereo options that were programmed into Pokemon Yellow. Just pressing select anywhere on the options screen, again like in Pokemon Yellow. I'm gonna leave that on mono. Set that, put that on set. Okay, let's go with these options just for now. We'll do new game. Yes, you can play as a girl in the master version. So we're gonna do that. The Nidorino now has the correct cry playing. So this is basically just like a Rule 63 or a gender swap of Trainer Red that I just did really. Well, I didn't say I did it really quick, but I am no sprite artist, and I think I did an okay job. This is actually inspired by my daughter, because I started working on this when we found out my wife was pregnant, and I wanted to be like, hey, this would be a cool thing to let my kid play, upon reaching the age of like 3 or 4 years old. Be like, here's a Game Boy and a flash cart. Play Pokemon. And then I added the female trainer when my wife and I learned that I was going to have a daughter. So then I'm like, okay, well, what should I make it look like? Well, let's go with kind of like, short-ish blonde hair, because it's kind of what my wife looked like when she was around the age of 10 or 11. So I figured, okay, this is probably a close enough representation of what my daughter's gonna look like around 10, because I see pictures of my wife and like her mom when they were young, and it's really uncanny how similar they look. It's like weird science clones of each other. So, for our names, we have Violet, Claire, and Jill. Let's go with Violet. Excuse me. What's his name again? So the thing is, in the original Japanese, it's a little more played for laughs that Professor Oak is going senile, and so he's kind of becoming a forgetful old man. And there's quite a few jokes at his expense that don't quite come through. I'm gonna name him Jack. Hold on, readjusting window. There we go. I have like a whole bunch of test windows running in the background right now, so if I like pause or something like that, it's because I'm readjusting to check something or look at some code. So, we have a run button. Pretty much blatantly stolen from the Pokemon trading card game. But it wasn't too hard to implement here. The tricky thing, though, was that, let me go back and forth, you'll notice, if you look very closely, the animation speeds up a little bit, by about 50% when you start running. That prevents kind of the ice skating effect that you might see in Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy. And it was a little tricky figuring out how to do that, because if you're not on like an interval of 4 frames, it can cause weird stuff and make the graphics crash. But this, honestly, I kind of just run without thinking now, because it's so convenient to have. Let's activate that 60 FPS mode, because whoa, is it good on the Game Boy Color. Ooh, yeah, that's buttery smooth. Now, the only thing about the double speed processor mode on the Game Boy Color is that when it's running, it's gonna eat through your batteries a little faster. So if you're playing this on real hardware with double A's, keep that in mind. But if you're playing it on a PC or you're playing it on your phone, it's like kind of whatever. Let's grab this potion. So, in the Master Branch, one thing is like, oh, you always run out of item space in Gen 1. Always run out of item space. So, what I did was, if you hit the start button on your bag space, you go to a separate bag. And you can just toggle between the two. So you effectively have 2 bag pockets of 20 item slots. Which I have been told people appreciate very much. Hi, Mom. So, I edited this text a little bit to say kids instead of boys, since you can play as a girl. Okay, some things I want to do before I run up here. Let me go into my rival's house and check this world map. So I'm going to make sure some things don't crash. Nope, that looks good. Hey, Daisy. Okay, next, I want to go into Oak's lab. Okay, so I want to point something out real quick. If you do not have the gamma shader on, this laboratory looks abominable. Like, it's just blinding you with this magenta color, or this deep purple color. But with the gamma shader on, it's much closer to what it should look like on the Game Boy, and you get like a nice pastel lavender color for the lab. So, I've changed these NPCs over here. We'll talk to this guy later, but this guy over here will activate trainer scaling. And that will actually make all of the trainers in the game scale up to the level of the strongest Pokemon in your party. I'm actually going to leave this off for now, because when you activate the Nuzlocke mode, if you have that trainer scaling on, it will not automatically activate the level cap, and you really don't want to have the level cap and the trainer scaling on, because you'll level up really fast and be constantly hitting that cap, and it's not a fun experience. So, cap or scaling, do one or the other. Oh, that's weird. So if I turn that off, and I turn that off, that goes back on. So, note to self, I need to fix that. This is why I'm doing this playtest. This guy does some things, but I'll talk to him later. I want to talk to this girl. Yes, please. Okay, one thing, you'll notice that I have no yes boxes for a lot of things. And that's because, let's face it, people have gained a bad habit of just hammering the A button in these games. And it's always a bummer when you accidentally select yes. So I have created a no yes box, so that when you do that, you will automatically hit no. And it's no big deal. So we're going to do yes. And what this is going to do is it is going to randomize all of the wild Pokemon in the game. It's going to randomize the Game Corner prize Pokemon. And it's going to randomize the starters. It will not randomize trainer Pokemon. This is just for player obtainable Pokemon. And it will also not randomize static overworld encounters like the birds or Mewtwo. And also, it uses a Fisher-Yates algorithm for randomizing. And it uses a deterministic seed based on your trainer ID number. Oh yes, maybe I should put the trainer ID number on this screen. But I have restored the trainer names to the trainer card. The gym leader names to the trainer card. These were removed in the English localization because of character limitations, but I was able to kind of throw together a quick and dirty skinny font and arrange things in the resource file in such a way that, you know, okay, like Brock, this is 5 letters, but this is actually 3 tiles put side by side. Like the image file that contains this as a resource, like the tiles, is an absolute mess. But when it gets pieced together on this screen, it looks nice and normal. Sabrina's name was really, really hard to fit. She uses 4 tiles, and I got like 1 pixel of free space there. Also, Blaine, you'll notice this. He doesn't look like an alien anymore. There was some sprite edit I found on Reddit. I have no idea who originally did it, but I recreated that sprite edit and I gave him black sunglasses, and he just all around looks better now. Because I'm one of those weirdos, and I always thought he looked like a gray alien. Wait, did I activate this? No, let's keep that randomization on. But yes, where was I? Yes, the random seed is based on your trainer ID, so that means when you save the game and load it back up again, everything is still randomized, but more importantly, it's randomized in the same spot as your the last time you started up your game. So the randomization is effectively save file based, or trainer ID based. This also means that the area function of your Pokedex will work. Like if there's Machop showing up in place of Pidgeys, then for that trainer ID, any place a Pidgey would normally be is replaced by Machop, and your Pokedex will reflect that in the area function. Also, it's not like totally randomized. There are 3... I've organized Pokemon into 3 categories, or 3 tiers: C tier, B tier, and A tier. And they are divided out into those 3 tiers based on their base stat total. So that way, Pokemon that end up in C tier only get randomized with other Pokemon in C tier. You're not going to run into wild Dragonites on Route 2. You can, however, run into wild Krabbies on Route 2. And some other little gameplay things I did, like, you will not end up with impossible to work Pokemon as your random starter. Like Magikarp is not a possibility. Jigglypuff is not a possibility because it only learns Sing at level 5. Abra is not a possibility. Metapod's not a possibility. Stuff where it's like, okay, if you end up with this Pokemon, you're just gonna have to deal with struggling out. That wouldn't be very fun. So I simply adjusted things to remove that possibility. Alright, let's go to see Professor Oak. Oh, just FYI, I'm going to be save stating a lot for this. I'm going to be save stating a lot for this just because I'm going to go back and look at things, and I also want to check for memory leaks. So I'm not going to be loading up saves. I'm going to be like going back to a previous save state because I want to replicate playing this game for 6, 8, 12 hours straight. But come to think of it, I should actually just make saves. So be erased, yes. I should just make save files to archive them. Alright, let's talk to Professor Oak, because there's another thing I want to look at. Okay, pay attention to this following animation. You'll notice if you look at like other streams, when you do this following animation, there is a jitter in Professor Oak, and that has to do with the V-blank period running in between the walk cycle animations for Oak. However, in Game Boy Color mode, since the processor... in Game Boy Color mode, with the 60 FPS feature on... Or no, I think it's... This will even work on a like a Game Boy Pocket, if you have the 60 FPS feature on. If you're running the overworld in 60 FPS mode, it will actually remove that jitter, and you'll see this here. So you can see his walk is nice and smooth, and he's not shadowing back and forth. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna back up that save file real quick. Because that's a good one to have, just right at the beginning of the game. (01) game start. Alright, we'll just have that. Okay, there we go. Let me have this window here. Okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. We have Venonat. Ooh, we have Eevee. Ooh, we got lucky. What's actually kind of hilarious is that I was playtesting this maybe like a couple weeks ago, and for that save file, I had a Pikachu in place of a Squirtle. So I don't know what's going on here. And Shelder. Okay, gang, we're going with Eevee. Yes, we will give a nickname to Eevee. Marfy. Let's go. No. Marfo? Oh, wait, no. Splink. We're going with Splink. Alright, let's see how this plays out. So, in the Master Branch, red and blue, what I've done is I've taken the Space World back sprites. This is for, I think it was the Space World 97. Yeah, I think it was Space World 97 beta of Gold and Silver. They had like updated back sprites for all the Pokemon, and they run at, they're like a little bit bigger resolution. They're 48 by 48. And what I noticed was that, so US Red and Blue version, they use the front sprites from Japanese Blue. And Japanese Blue was Japan's third version of Gen 1. And I noticed that all the back sprites from the Space World beta actually correspond to the front sprites from Japanese Blue. So I put them in because it really looks like they were supposed to go together. And there is a kind of artistic consistency there that was kind of lost when Blue was released. It's probably because when Blue was released, they were already working on them, but probably didn't have all of the back sprites done yet, so they thought, you know, oh, whatever, just ship it, right? It's a blue version's a premium mail-in special order thing. Or it could be because in order to get these back sprites to work, you have to tweak a few things with the battle engine, and Game Freak probably didn't want to mess around too much with that for fear of breaking something, because they did not have the kind of debug tools that we have today. They were doing it with like pencil and paper. So anyway, let me fight here. We have Tackle and we have Tail Whip. Let's see how this plays out. One thing is with the AI improvement, the AI is actually quite a bit more aggressive. So this Bulbasaur is going to tackle me a lot more often. And there we go. Didn't even have to use a potion. Master Branch has an experience bar! Which was basically like such a good addition to Generation 2, I just had to put it in the Master Branch, it's so convenient. It is colored yellow instead of blue, and that's just because how the battle system handles palettes for different quadrants of the screen. But, I don't know, the yellow's grown on me and I like it. It does not play a sound effect, though, because I do prefer it to be silent. I know in Red++, the creator for that... by the way, the code that does this experience bar, it is... I did not make that. That is blatantly from Red++. So, shoutouts to the creator for that, Luna. Shoutouts to Luna for that code. Luna's got it to where I think like a potion sound effect is playing, but I prefer it to be silent, so I just had to be silent. And it's weird because my brain kind of fills in the sound effect anyway. Oh, also, there is unused text for these games for when you lose rival fights. I have restored that. Later, Jack. Alright, let's look at the stats for Splink. It's okay all around. Okay, here's some cool stuff. Hold select and go to the stats screen. This will show you your stat experience that you've acquired. Stat experience is the precursor to effort values. And it runs from, it starts at 0 and runs to 63,556. But really, like, there's really a soft cap of 64,000, just due to how the math works out. Above 64,000, it's not going to affect your stats. But you can, like, max it out for every stat. And this will... You can actually see it now. Also, hold start and go to stats screen. And oh, wow, this EV's really good. You have your DVs, which are the precursor to IVs, inherent values. DVs, or I think they stand for differential values. They're basically the same thing, except they're on a scale from 0 to 15. So EV Splink here is 8 for HP, max on attack, good on defense, okay on speed, good on special. This is an amazing Eevee. Also, another thing I want to state is, in the Master version, if you are given a Pokemon as a gift or a prize from the game corner, or a purchase, like buying the Magikarp, basically if an NPC gives you a Pokemon, that Pokemon is guaranteed to have DVs of at least 8 in every stat. Why is that? Well, for one thing, it prevents you from getting a starter with just absolute garbage stats. And also, it makes it like worth getting a Pokemon from the game corner. Like, it kind of makes it worth the effort, and also it gives you a slight incentive to buy that Magikarp from the shady dude in the Mount Moon Pokemon Center. It's not just a trap option anymore. There's a hidden advantage to that. I'm pretty happy. Lucked out hard. Alright, let's go to the options. Let's turn on that Nuzlocke. No, wait, I want to leave Nuzlocke mode off for right now. Because I want to get through Route 1. We have Magikarps on Route 1. Well, this is going to be a nice grinding area. I take it back, 5 experience from those garbage fish. What else do we got? So you notice that the female trainer has an upgraded back sprite to go along with the upgraded Pokemon back sprites. This is based off of an upgraded Trainer Red back sprite that I just made modifications to. I don't remember who made the back sprite for the upgraded back sprite for Trainer Red. It's in the credits on the GitHub page, so kudos to that person. So, I do have builds of this for green, Japanese red, and Japanese blue, and in those versions I kind of retranslated this text to bring back the fact that this guy is totally wasted. Oh, I want to go in this house and show something. Nope, wrong house. Where's the house? This house. So, you have these 3 guys here, which I named the Claus Brothers. And these guys will activate the Item Clause, Freeze Clause, and Sleep Clause as done by Pokemon Stadium. Well, Pokemon Stadium doesn't allow items in battle anyway. But items will pretty easy to turn off. And that applies to both the player and the opposing AI trainer. Sleep Clause works the same way as it does in Pokemon Stadium 1. So if you use Rest and then switch out your Pokemon, because it's still asleep in your roster, it will prevent the opponent from sleeping any other of your Pokemon. So I'm actually going to leave those clauses off because I want to make sure that trainers use their items for testing purposes. I did add this kid. Yeah. This kid actually gives an explanation of how the heck one-hit KO moves are supposed to work in Generation 1. So, this was like never printed anywhere, but in Generation 1, one-hit KO moves, not only do they have 30% accuracy, but in order for your one-hit KO move to be effective, you have to go first in the round. So that usually that means you have to be faster than your opponent in order for them to work. So that's why, you know, people would, you know, try to use fissure or something, and you know, it's like, oh, it would never work. You know, you sit there and spam it, and keep trying to use it over and over, oh, it would never work. It's because you're using it on a Rhyhorn, and Rhyhorn is really slow. Put fissure on a Dugtrio, and see what happens then. But I added that little kid in the schoolhouse to actually give an explanation of what is going on. Alright, on with the game. Let's get this parcel. This parcel actually takes up an item slot, which I feel is just like so useless. Like, what a perfectly good, like, there's a different item that could have gone for that hex value. And this is in your inventory for like 2 seconds. Well, whatever, it's very like 90s RPG design. There has to be something else on this route. What else is here? Hey, we got horsies. I kind of want one of those. Oh, we haven't done the decks yet. I muted the mic there for a minute. My wife came in to make fun of me. So everyone says, like, I guess a lot of people, I guess I've just been really reflecting on, like, why, you know, Blue was remembered as such a good rival. And I think it's because he's really cocky and he acts like he's better than you, which makes him kind of a jerk. But also, you know, you see his name, that he's beaten all the gyms before you, and he's always ahead of you in catching Pokemon. So even though you just beat him a ton throughout the game, he's still ahead of you in collecting badges, and he's ahead of you in collecting Pokemon. So in that way, he acts like he's better than you, but he has these, like, bits of proof that, yeah, he kinda is. Contrast that with Silver in Generation 2, where he's just a bully, and he's always condescending to you, and you just smash his face in every time you meet him. Because I guess it's kind of implied he's collecting badges, but he never really mentions it. No, wait, it's implied once when you get to, like, Olivine, and he's like, oh, the gym leader isn't here, she's caring for some Ampharos, blah blah blah, sick Pokemon should just go die. So he is collecting gym badges, but he doesn't make, like, a huge deal out of it. Furthermore, he doesn't seem to be collecting Pokemon. So I feel like the whole him and you being in a struggle against each other doesn't really come through as much. He's just kind of a jerk that shows up and like, not even like a likable jerk. He's just this schoolyard bully who shows up and is just really mean to you for no reason. Whereas good old Trainer Blue, or Green if you're Japanese, good old Trainer Blue Oak, he's from the same town as you, and his whole deal is like he's working on his own claim to fame. Better catch up, buddy. I think that's just generally why he has so much, like, such a memorable quality to him. Okay. I'm gonna check this area function. So we have wild Bulbasaurs in the Safari Zone. I did make, in the Master Branch, I do make the starters available to catch. They are wild encounters. They have like maybe a 5% chance or maybe a 10% chance of showing up. And they are in areas corresponding to where you get them in yellow version. So I think like Charmander's on Route 24, Bulbasaur is on Route 4 and Squirtle's on Route 10. Let's see, Horsey. I love how the area function works with this randomization. So... and Magikarp. So it seems like Magikarp replaced Pidgey and Horsey replaced Rattata. Alright. Let's go get some balls. So critical hits, there's a bug in the original game where the way critical hits are coded is that they ignore any changes to stats, like buffs and debuffs. But this ends up having a weird effect where if you like Swords Dance yourself up and then get a critical hit, you can actually do less damage with a crit than if you would with a normal attack with like 3 Swords Dances. So what I did was I made it... I tweaked one value from like a +2 to a +1 in order to make the math, make all the algebra work out and simplify a bit better. I made that slight math change, and then I also made it so that a comparison is run in the background, and it will look and see what's going to do more damage, a regular attack or a critical hit attack. And if you get a crit, what a normal attack would do more damage, it will just give you the damage of the normal attack. So that way, you are always doing your maximum potential damage, and crits will not gimp you. Antidote, paralyze heal. So, there are select TMs spread throughout all the Pokemarts for purchase. Why is this? People go, well, why didn't you just do infinite TMs like later generations? So your PC box can only hold 50 items. There's very limited item space in this game. So what I thought was, hey, why not give money some more utility in the post-game? And take all the TMs and just make them purchasable in all the marts. And just kind of divide them up between the marts strategically. So this is your first town, you get Payday, Egg Bomb, Soft Boil. Why? Because these have very limited uses. Like, Egg Bomb can only be used by, like, Chansey and the Execute line. Soft Boil can only be used by Chansey. Payday is only used by Meowth and Pikachu and maybe, like, 1 or 2 others. But then, like, Bide is purchasable in, I want to say, Cerulean City. So, after you beat Brock, but, you know, not too late in the game. Alright, now that I have some Pokeballs, I'm going to turn Nuzlocke mode on. So, for those of you who don't know, Nuzlocke mode. If a Pokemon faints, it's dead, and it cannot be used in battle. The way I've coded it in this game is that a fainted Pokemon, revives won't work. Yeah, revive items will not work on a fainted Pokemon. You can't use revive items in battle. So you can't resurrect it that way. If you try going to a Pokemon Center or Mom or like the healing tiles in Pokemon Tower, basically like party healing is all handled by one function. Party healing will heal your whole party, but any Pokemon that are dead, it will freeze and set them to 1 hit point and set the PP of all of their moves to 0. So you have, even if you cure the freeze, you have no choice but to struggle out. And you can't use healing items on dead Pokemon at all. So how does it know what Pokemon is dead? The data structures for Pokemon in Generation 1, there's an unused slot for catch rate. Generation 2's time capsule uses that slot for held items, which is why transferring Pokemon into Gen 2 can sometimes be holding a berry or an antidote or something. So what I do is I set that slot to a value of 5, which in Gen 2 corresponds to a Pokeball. But if the game sees that value when Nuzlocke mode is on, it will treat that Pokemon as dead and penalize it accordingly. Other things about Nuzlocke mode, you can only catch 1 Pokemon per area, and it has to be the first wild encounter you run into. So, what is an area? Area is defined by what shows up on the town map. So Mount Moon, all the floors of Mount Moon count as one area because on the map it will show as this location, Mount Moon. So once you have your one opportunity for a catch, if you blow it, you blow it. If you make a catch, you make your catch. Otherwise, it will not allow you to throw any kind of Pokeball. This runs through the Wild Encounter engine, so it applies to static Pokemon like the legendary birds and Mewtwo. It will not apply to NPCs giving you a gift or anything like that. So, let's catch a Pokemon. I'm also going to cheat super bad with save states. Yeah, no, I actually really want the Horsey for this encounter. Because I'm going to do something else with the Magikarp later. There we go. You'll notice this little symbol that shows up in the corner under Horsey's name that up-down arrow. When the Nuzlocke mode is active, if that symbol is showing, it means that you are allowed to throw a Pokeball. So that way you don't have to keep track of it yourself if you're allowed to make this catch or not. Man, that's gonna make Brock so easy. Let's get its health down to like a third. Crap. Well, I guess I'll show off something. So now if I go and get into an encounter again, because I blew that one, that arrow is gone. And if I go and I throw a Pokeball, I can't use one, because Nuzlocke mode is active. Dupe's Clause is in effect, which basically means if your first wild encounter for an area is something that you've already caught before, then it doesn't count. This prevents you from having a team full of like Rattatas or something. There we go. And also, if you're in Nuzlocke mode, it doesn't ask you for a nickname, it just kicks you to the nickname screen. You can cancel out of this if you don't want to nickname it, so it's not like it's forcing you, but it's a little something. Dangle. Ooh, do I have enough characters? Yes. Danklestein. Danklestein the horsey. Let's check this thing out. Ooh, that's a very good attack. Ooh, those are some good stats. 15, 11, 13, 9, 15. Man, I'm lucking out hard. Alright, let's go talk to Mom. So now that I have a Pokedex, there's a guy I want to talk to. Let's talk to this guy. Yes, please. So what he's gonna do is, like he said, in wild battles, it will add a Pokeball marker to tell me if I have caught something before, and it will also print a symbol to tell me a Pokemon's sex. This symbol is also printed on the status screen, so I can look at Splink here. And Splink is male. And Dankelstein is also male. And this male-female is determined the same way as it is in Generation 2. So it's based off the attack DV. We can see that's a female Magikarp. And we have not caught a Magikarp yet. Can we get another Horsey? Man, there's a lot of Magikarps on this route. Alright, Horsey. So we can see we have a Pokeball symbol, we've caught it before, and this is a male Horsey. So you notice there's like a slight jitter in between loading maps here. That is due to loading the Super Game Boy palettes. I believe that's present even if you're playing on like a Super Game Boy. Not really much I can do about that, even though I've looked into it. Save. I'm gonna call this 02 got Dex. Okay, what do I want to do next? Oh yeah. So, if you go to the Pokedex, hold select, and hold select, go to data. It will load a Pokemon's shiny palette. Because yes, I have implemented shinies in this game, in this ROM hack. So, you can see a little symbol is printed there, and Bulbasaur has a palette swap. So, how do I do this? So, in Generation 2, shininess is determined by a Pokemon's DVs. I think it's like... It's like you have 4 bytes. You have 16 bytes that determine your DVs. And you have 16 bits that determine your DVs. And the right set of 4 bits. So 4 bits is called a nibble, right? Because it's a nibble of a byte. But your DVs are in Gen 1 and Gen 2 are determined by 4 nibbles, and a nibble is 4 bits. So, if your DVs are, I think it's from right to left, A, and then the leftmost bit is a 1, that is the cipher for shininess. So what does this mean? This means that shinies can actually exist in Generation 1, and if you transfer them to Generation 2 with a time capsule, they will be shiny. You can confirm this by taking the red Gyarados from Generation 2, time capsuling it to a Generation 1 game, and then time capsuling it back. It will still be red. So all I do here is I identify, I've coded the cipher into the game, and it just checks DVs and identifies if it would be shiny in Gen 2. If so, it does a palette swap, and it will print this symbol in on the battle screen, and there's also an unused animation which I repurposed as a shiny animation. And that's if you're playing on a Game Boy Pocket or an old DMG which doesn't have color. But if you are playing on a Super Game Boy or a Game Boy Color, you will have a palette swap. And just for fun, you can go to the Pokedex, and like I said, you can just hit that select and go to data, and you see what the palette swap would look like. So for Horsey, we have a green color. Alright, let's go catch something on Route 2. Let's go catch something here on Route 23. We have a Pidgey. It is randomized. I have confirmed that. It probably replaced, like, Nidoran with Pidgey. I bet that's what it did. We'll call him Lumpus. Our female Pidgey named Lumpus. Woof, that thing is terrible. It's fast though, but ouch. It's not a heavy hitter. What Pidgey is. And let's go get a Route 2 encounter for this Nuzlocke run. Actually, just let me go back to Route 23. Check something. 'Cause I messed up a few values, and the Nuzlocke mode was working correctly for this route. And I'm pretty sure I fixed it. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna let me make a catch. Alright, let's go. Route 2 encounter. Give me something good. Alright, Orsi, we have caught this before, and it's our first encounter for the area, so you can see that we can make a catch here. The way this works is that I can run from this, and the dupes clause will take effect, and I can try again on the next encounter for making a catch. Or I could catch this if I wanted to, but once I make that catch, that's it. That's my one for the route. I think I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out. Let me check something in the decks. Let me check this Pidgey. Area. Oh yeah! It looks like Pidgey did replace one of the Nidorans. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and get this Magikarp out of the way. Because if I catch it, then when I encounter it on future routes, Dupe's Claws will take effect. I'm gonna name you Clonk. Alright, Clonk, you're basically going to be box trash. Actually, no. I know exactly what I'm going to use you for. I'm going to drop you in the daycare to show off daycare features. Oh man, it's gonna be a pain to level this thing up against water types. Ugh. You know what? We're going in Viridian Forest. Let's see what we get here. An Abra. Oh, those are going to be awful to grind against. But do want. Time to cheat with save states. There we go. I'm gonna name you Crumpo. HP's okay. Hey, 13 special, that's good. And speed is good too. I'll take it. Oh. Let me see if I can find a good spot to showcase this. Okay. You see this line of tiles right here on the right side? Ooh, a Psyduck. Please, give me something I can level this horsey against. Okay. So, you see this line of tiles on the right side that I'm walking in? You'll see that the bottom right corner of each tile has almost a little star thing, like a star-shaped piece of grass. So originally this tile did not count as a grass tile, which means that you would never get an encounter in these tiles. But I fixed that. And now you actually do get encounters out of them. I remember being like a kid and running up and down this specific stretch and not encountering anything, and I thought I was losing my mind. But yeah, it turns out that originally those don't have encounters. And Shin Pokemon fixes that. Also, Viridian Forest will allow you to fly out of it now. I forgot to use the Viridian Center. While I'm off camera, I might go and level up these guys a bit. Just so I can get them ready for the next rival battle. I.e. edit their RAM. Yeah, I might just edit their RAM to put them somewhere I want them to be. I'm not doing a competitive thing. I'm not really even doing a challenge. Just want to make sure things work. There we go. Oh, you've probably noticed that the attacks are colored. Normally the attack animations are black and white. Like, that's how the Super Game Boy does it. But I found out that, you know, oh hey, on the Game Boy Color, these animations use specific palette slots. What if I were to, like, change these on the fly? Could I color the attack animations with something? And it turns out that I can. So playing in Game Boy Color mode, you will have colored attack animations. And I do it based on type. So like yellow is... Normal I set to yellow, because it was a lot more interesting than just white. And then water, of course, is blue, fire's gonna be red, and grass is gonna be green. Okay, I'm gonna see if Dankelstein will get knocked out here, so that way I can show off the death mechanic. Alright, now Dankelstein is dead. Now, watch what happens when I go to the Pokemon Center. So you can see Dankelstein is frozen with 1 hit point and has 0 PP for its move. So why do this? Well, if you have a party wipe where all your Pokemon have 0 hit points, the game really doesn't like it if you're just walking around with a party of Pokemon with no hit points. It wants to keep constantly blacking you out. So by doing this, you can have a party wipe and continue on in the game with, say, you know, boxed Pokemon or something, and the game, like, doesn't crap itself. Also, an interesting thing you can do is, if you turn off Nuzlocke mode, you can then heal your dead Pokemon, turn on Nuzlocke mode, and use them again. However, because their death is marked in their catch rate, it means that party healing will still make them frozen with 1 hit point. And you can't use healing items on them. So they're effectively kind of zombified when you turn on the Nuzlocke mode again. I was going to do something about that, and then I thought, hey, there's potential there for a rules variant. I think I'm going to leave that in. This Eevee kinda hits like a truck. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like storm sirens going off in the background. I don't know why, it's like sunny and nice out. Maybe they're just testing them. Let me mute this microphone for a sec. wonder how long I've been streaming this. I'm getting kind of hungry. Checking on a thing. I have been streaming for how long? I can't remember. Yeah, it's like noon. I'm getting a tiny bit hungry. I think I'll go for a bit more. I think I'm gonna go and explore Viridian Forest a bit more. Because I want to see what the Randomizer replaced the Metapods with. And I need to level some of these guys up. Oh wait, no, there's an NPC in the Pokemon Center I need to show off. Why can't I escape from this Magikarp? There we go. Okay, this guy. He's an aide that I added, and what he does is he randomizes regular trainers. What is a regular trainer? So, in Gen 1, trainers do not have individual names. It only, when you see a trainer's name, what it is that's their trainer class. You know, Cool Trainer wants to fight, Swimmer wants to fight, Rocket wants to fight. So, when you have, like, gym leaders, Erica, Sabrina, Koga, it says Erica wants to fight, Koga wants to fight. Erica, Koga, Sabrina, Brock, all the gym leaders, all the Elite Four, they are their own trainer class. Your rival actually has 3 trainer classes. There is, you know, the rival fights up through Cerulean are the first class, Rival 1. And then there is the rest of the rival fights throughout the main game, which is Rival 2. And then there's finally Rival 3, which is where it's the champion battle. You can tell which one because they each have different sprites. But regular trainers are your, I guess, no-name trainers. It's all the trainer classes except for gym leaders, Elite Four, and Rival. And in the game, they actually have a different format. Boss-ish trainers have a setup where the Pokemon in their rosters can have different levels. Regular trainers, though, have a list of Pokemon and a level, and that level is applied to their entire team. So what this will do is, for those no-name trainers with one level for their whole team, it will randomize those trainers, and it will give them appropriate Pokemon based on base stat total, and then it will actually level them up if necessary. So think like, Victory Road, right? It randomly gives a trainer there a Pidgey. And then, but it's like level 38, so it will then evolve We'll actually evolve that Pidgey up to like a Pidgeot. It can make things a little bit hairy. I might turn this on later. I'm going to leave it off for now. Again, this will not affect the rival, the Elite Four, or the gym leaders. Because you're trying to do a Nuzlocke, right? Weird stuff can kind of happen. I feel like Brock just rolls up in there with a Dragonite. You know, or not a Dragonite, just Brock just rolls up in there with a Scyther. Yeah, I'll leave that turned off for now. I might test it out later. I think I'm gonna go explore Viridian Forest a bit. Because I want to do the first rival fight. This is not cool. Let's go, Lumpus! I really like that back sprite. That's what I need. So you'll notice that the low health alarm is not playing. It was a special request by one of my buddies to please turn that off. So what happens is the low health alarm will play, you know, you'll get 3 jingles and then it'll turn itself off. Feeling gutsy. Nope. Let's go back to Denkelstein. Just finish this off. I don't want to hear any comments about this Eevee's rear end. You keep that private, you degenerates. And no, I'm not evolving this into a Vaporeon. Don't you dare start with that copy pasta. This is a Christian stream. The Lord frowns upon such things. Yeah! That's not a lot of experience. That kind of sucked. Ugh. I hate that. I want to go to the Pokemon Center. Okay, one nice thing about early game Abra with a randomizer, just hit teleport. Saves so much time. Oh, one thing you might not have noticed with that, sometimes your character will show like A, B, C, D glitched graphics when teleporting like that. I fixed that. I believe it was caused by a reference to an incorrect address. You know what, I think I'm gonna go beat up some bug catchers. Alright, this guy. He's going to have actual bugs that I want to fight against. Oh, shit. No, I forgot I don't have any antidotes. Of course! This is not working out like I want it to. So the AI actually was programmed in 3 layers. There's layer 1, 2, and 3. Hold on, my wife needs something. Okay, sorry. Domestic husband stuff. I'm probably gonna pop off of here soon to get lunch. But yes, the AI is in 3 layers, 1, 2, and 3. Layer 1 is, I guess, best described as don't do stupid things. Like, don't... If an enemy is asleep, or poisoned, or burned, or paralyzed, do not try to put it asleep. Do not try to poison it. Do not try to paralyze it. Things like that. Layer 2 is a kind of an edge case, which says, hey, use a buffing move on the first turn of sending out a Pokemon. But it was bugged in the original games, and it would be on the second turn. And then AI Layer 3 is the, hey, try to use super effective moves layer. I have went through and I have massively expanded these. AI Layer 1 is enormous and checks for all kinds of things. AI Layer 2 tries to intelligently do type matching now. And actually take Type 2 into account and a move's strength into account. So, yeah, you're not going to trick a Dragonite into using agility against your Weedle over and over. That will end very badly for you. AI Layer 2 I didn't do much with, but it's fixed and now buffs on the first turn. I also... There's an unused layer with nothing in it called Layer 4. That I built into a switching layer, so trainers will now sometimes try to switch semi-intelligently. And then every NPC trainer in the game is assigned a combination of layers. Bug catchers only have, like, Layer 1, and that's it. They're not too smart. Youngsters don't have any AI. They're effectively like wild Pokemon and choose their moves randomly. And this was like set by Game Freak. I've tried to go back and assign switching to ones that make sense. Like Trainer Rocket Grunts. They normally just have Layer 1, but I additionally gave them Layer 4 so that they can switch. And then, of course, the gym leaders and the Elite Four have everything. Am I gonna lose this? Okay, something else about what I put into the game here. In the Master Branch, if you put it on set mode, that is the, I guess, difficult mode, because it does a couple of things. First thing it does, and I think I stated this before, is instead of having 0 stat XP, instead of 0 stat experience for all of the enemy trainer Pokemon, it will assign them level appropriate stat experience. And also the DVs of enemy trainer Pokemon get randomized. Whereas originally they're just like values of 9, 8, 8, 8. And that's it for every trainer. So this means a couple of things. One is that the stats of enemy trainer Pokemon are on the same level as you. Their DVs match or are better than yours, and their stat experience matches or is better than yours. So you can't just plow through the game, outspeeding and one-shotting every trainer Pokemon anymore. Also on set mode, it takes away your badge boosts for trainer battles. You still have them in wild battles, but they won't apply in trainer battles. So it's like a link cable battle with these AI trainers. They're on your level, stat-wise, math-wise. They still have the AI that's a lot better, but if you can beat an 8-year-old at Pokemon, you can beat these trainers. Set mode also does a couple of other neat things. It gives you a 50% EXP bonus from trainer battles as a kind of a, here's a consolation prize for the higher difficulty. Mewtwo will actually pick its moves with trainer AI. You cannot use a Master Ball against Mewtwo, and X-Stat items have double the effect like they do in later generations. I did that because these trainers love to use X-Stat items. But nobody ever used them because they're not that good. So that's set mode. So these trainers are going to be a little tankier, and combined with their increased aggressiveness, I really can't wait to stock up on healing items. Alright, let's teleport out of here. Another advantage of the randomizer giving me an Abra early game. Because Dunkelstein was not going to make it back to the Pokemon Center. Alright guys, I've been going for about 2 hours now, and it's like 12:30 p.m. right now. My wife's given me the come on, I'm hungry look, and I'm pretty hungry too, so I'm gonna go call it a day and get some lunch. I'll probably do a little bit of leveling up off screen, and probably fix that issue in the menu. This thing. I'll probably fix that issue off screen as well. So, thank you for dropping in, and thank you for watching this after the fact, either in YouTube archives or on my Twitch channel. And check out Shin Pokemon. The beta is available to playtest for yourself. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day.